everything in life is free. You shouldn't have to pay for anything at all. Everything is free. You're a goddess. Everything you want is gonna come your way. Put your celebrity game on and then walk into places and show them who the fuck you are.
Yo, people, what's cracking? Welcome to Odex. It's your boy David Picasso, and I got a super heavy hitter in the house. She goes by Barbara. What's up, Barbara?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm so happy you came.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I'm excited you're here, man. I feel like we were talking before, I feel like you're the biggest plug that has, blessed our show. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's big. That's big.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We appreciate it. So we're going to get into it quick. A little bit about your background so people can get an idea of who you are. Hit me with that.
Okay, so I'm a publicist, but I'm also a social activist and social media expert, obviously. But I've been doing this since I was probably about 19. So I've been doing it for 14 years now. And so I've been in this game for a very long time.
Right.
So representing celebrities, helping people with brands, helping people to advocate for stuff, helping farm workers, mentoring domestic violence survivors and things like that.
And I know you might not be really big on name dropping, but some of the people you've worked with, just name dropping real quick. Let's flex on them.
Okay, let's flex on that. Well, first and foremost, I started working with Corrupt and Roscoe from the Dog Pound. When I was very young, I used to drive Corrupt and Roscoe to the concerts, and then Lemonade, Sand Dog, Be Real. Oh my gosh, there's so many, but Snoop, obviously. B2K. Yeah. Hannah Giraldo, which is Pat Benatar's daughter, which is a rock star legend. So, right. And then, oh my gosh, there's so many. Omar Benson Miller, too. Right. He's a good friend of mine, too, and I worked with him in the past. Comedians, Red Grant. I work with Afion Crockett. I work with, oh my gosh, there's so many comedians that I work with.
Your list goes on and on and on. That's crazy. That's awesome, though.
Yeah. Cat Williams, too.
Cat Williams. Yeah. Oh, that's one of my favorite comedians. Shout out to Cat Williams.
And D-Ray Davis. Shout out to D-Ray.
There you go. He's an LA legend. That I always see that kid in the clubs, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like before COVID.
Yeah, before COVID. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right. So it's crazy for me that you have all these accomplishments, but maybe a lot of people, including myself, didn't know kind of like how you got started in the industry, how you even landed in California. So let's start kind of from the beginning. So your upbringing as a kid, where were you born? Where were you at?
Well, I was born and raised in Mexico City.
All right,
and I came here to the States when I was 15. My dad pretty much lied to me about coming to Disneyland. Yeah. And then I was like, whoa, we're moving here. Okay, all right. Then, then I started like my high school stuff, but I didn't speak English at all.
Okay. How did your parents get you here or your dad get you here? What happened?
Well, my dad crossed us over. We got our papers and everything. So my dad's like, okay, let's go and, let's go see what we can do. I mean, my dad wanted to change our lives. Obviously, he wanted a better perspective in life and a better situation. So that's how we got here. And it wasn't a struggle. It was a really easy thing where we, one of our friends just said, hey, let's go. We were riding in the car. And then when we got here, it was just like, what? Like,
so you didn't know necessarily you're going to come live here?
No, I didn't know.
Got it.
I had no idea. So my mom's like,
what story did they give you?
So at first they were like, well, we're going to celebrate your 15th birthday. Because, like the quince, so to speak, like the Mexican quince or whatever. I didn't want any of that or any of that stuff. I was like, do not give me a quince. Do not give me any of that stuff. I want money. Yeah. I want to go shopping for clothes. And they're like, okay, well, that was weird because everybody wants one, Right. Like in the Mexican culture, everybody's very big on that stuff. And I was like the exception. I was like, no, I want to get money so I can give back to people or like, give somebody something or whatever. But going back to that, my mom started telling me, well, now this is, she sat me down and she's like, well, now you're going to live here. And this is what we decided to do. And sorry, this is,
Were you the only child or there was brothers and sisters?
I have siblings. Yeah, okay. I have a brother and sister, which are twins.
And they travel with you here?
Yes.
The same day, same car type of
No,
deal?
Actually, they came here before me.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
okay.
They were here before me already.
Older,
when they
younger?
were 7. Younger.
Younger, got you.
I'm the oldest.
Okay, you're the oldest, got it.
Yeah.
So they were here before you. You think you're going to Disneyland, right? That's the story. And then suddenly your mom just sits down with you and says, this is where we're living now.
Right.
Got you. So it's a huge adjustment because, one, you don't speak the language, right? Did you come to LA? What kind of area did you come?
No, we actually started in Ventura County.
Ventura. Okay.
Yeah, Ventura.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, Oxnard, slur.
Okay.
The 805.
805. Got you. Shout out to the 805.
Yes.
And 15, that means you're in high school, right?
Yes.
So you joined high school. You're like a sophomore, I'm assuming, or a freshman?
Yeah, a sophomore. Yeah.
Sophomore?
Right.
And how hard was it, dude, to integrate yourself into a school that you don't even speak the language?
Jesus Christ. It was tough. It was tough because a lot of the football players, because I was, not to be considered, I was a pretty girl.
Okay.
So a lot of the football players were like, hey, what's up? And they were talking to me and I was like, what the hell are they talking about, man? Like,
they were hollering at you?
I was like, yeah, they were saying all this like stuff. And I was like, what? Like, I couldn't understand anything. I was like, oh my, it was so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then I got a lot of hate too because I used to braid my hair.
Okay.
So then at that moment, like, I did not understand the culture.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I didn't understand how hard it was for people to actually understand where I was coming from.
Right.
So in Mexico City, we kiss people too, and on the cheek when we say hi.
Right.
And then here they're like, "Oh hell no! You better back away from me. You're not about to kiss me."
Right. Facts. That's true. It's a culture thing.
It's a cultural shock. You're like, oh my God. So I'm like very touchy with people. Like, well, not anymore, but I used to be, and be like, oh my God, hi, and they would be like shaking my head, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
sure.
and then technically speaking, in our countries, because I'm from Colombia, we do the same.
Right.
That's rude if you just extend your hand to somebody just trying to kiss them the cheek.
Exactly. That's hella rude.
Right,
so I was like, oh my God, what are these people thinking? What are they doing? Like,
so
I'm just trying to be loving.
how many years you felt it took before you kind of like understood the language and you were able to speak it?
6 months.
Oh shit, you're quick.
Yeah.
6 months.
I set myself a goal. I'm a go-getter. I'm very determined. So when I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I don't give a damn what it takes. So
6 months.
I said, yep. Because you know what I hated, dude? I hated when teachers place me on the English as a second language.
Yeah, which ESL.
ESL.
Yeah, fact.
I hated that. And I made a lot of friends when I came here, right? That were from Mexico too. But they wouldn't want to learn. They were stuck on that little group just speaking Spanish. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But I'm like, I cannot do this.
Right.
So I had to actually break up with those friends.
Right.
And I started hanging out with Filipinos and blacks and, different cultures, different people.
Right.
And I will just, and how I learned too is because when I was in Mexico, this is, I guess another story, but I listened to Tupac for the first time.
Okay.
California Love came in the radio when I was in Mexico City.
All right.
I didn't understand what the hell he was saying, but I was like, damn, who is this dude? I was like, I was vibing to it, and I was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. So when I got here, I bought his record, and I went through the lyrics.
Right.
And I started translating them and understanding and repeating them. So I repeated that song every night for like a week, 2 weeks, until I memorized every lyric on that song.
Is it still memorized?
Yes. Oh, I know every Tupac record lyric ever. Facts. I know all his lyrics. Like if you play a song right now, I'll know it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna have to figure that out.
Oh yes.
I love to hear it. That's what's up. All right.
Oh yeah. So that's how through music, and this is why I'm so passionate about music because that's how I learned the language. Because I started listening to it and then reading the lyrics and understanding what it meant. So I was like, oh shoot. And then the next thing you know, I set myself a goal and I said, I'm going to learn in 6 months.
Right.
I am not going to be in this English as a second language anymore. And I asked my teachers, place me on the all English. I don't give a damn if I don't get it. I don't give a damn if I fail for the first week. Please give me the chance.
Right.
And they're like, okay, fine. We're going to do that. And it worked.
Damn. Mm-hmm. That's so dope. You're so determined.
Yes, absolutely.
That's cool. That's right. So, all right. So you go through high school, right? Mm-hmm. You live, as a teenager life, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
You start approaching your adult life where you're about to graduate. And what are you thinking you're going to do after high school?
So after high school, I already knew I was going to be someone in the industry.
How?
I don't know. That's the thing. I just, you know what? Since I was 5, I used to love how to sing and act. I've been acting since I was 5 too. So I've been in soap operas in Mexico.
Okay.
So, and I actually was a child dancer too.
Okay.
So since I was 5, I used to put my teddy bears in front of me and used to just perform in front of them or like speak to them or whatever. And I was like, I'm going to know. And I used to watch TV too. And I used to tell my mom, I don't know how, but I'm going to be on TV one day.
Right.
And people are going to be interviewing me and people are going to be doing this and this and that. And my mom used to look at me, yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
That's cute. I was was like, I am. And I even told my cousin until this day. She tells me, she's like, remember when you used to say that and you were just 8? Like, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to represent celebrities. I'm going to do all these things. And then now you're doing it.
Right.
It's crazy because I was just 7 and I was telling everybody, I'm going to be somebody. Yeah.
That's so dope. You spoke into existence, basically,
yes.
Right? But I'm sure it hasn't been easy. So kind of walk me through, what were your first steps in getting into the industry? Like, who did you connect with? How do you establish those relationships?
So how I started real fast is through one of my friends, and he was my mentor too, Adam Santana. He actually introduced me to this guy that was doing a clothing line. And he was like, hey, let's do sales for him, and let's see where that goes. And he knows a lot of people in the industry.
Okay.
And I said, okay, cool. So I used to work at Mickey D's at that time. And I used to have to open at 4:30 in the morning. But in order for me to meet people at clubs or networking events, I used to get on the line, and I used to pay whatever amount of money I had to pay to get in the door. And I used to get familiarized with the bouncers.
Okay.
And I used to be like, hey, this is I'm so and so, hey, because that's how you get your foot in the door with the bouncers.
Okay.
If you want to know anybody in this business, it's bouncers.
Okay.
Because they'll let you in.
That's so true.
Yeah, no,
You're
you have to be nice to them. So
Yeah.
I figured that out. Then I made myself a little plan, and then I said, okay. I told my boy Adam, I said, listen, we're gonna start doing the sales for the fashion clothing line.
Right.
Then we're gonna go to networking events right after, and then we're gonna start stacking a Rolodex, creating a database, and following up with people. And he was like, all right, cool.
What age was this?
This was I was 19.
Damn, you giving the blueprint now. That's crazy. All right. Keep going. I'm listening.
Yeah. So then I said, okay, so that's how we're going to strategize, because I figure I'm not going to waste my time going to these parties without knowing the heavy hitters. I need to get into the VIP. I need to finesse how I'm going to go and talk to this person, and so that person can open the door and open this next door. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I used to give him the plan, and then he was like, oh, yeah, because he was like very smart. And very, book smart, but he wasn't street smart.
Right.
And that's where I come in, because I've been hustling too since I was 5. I've been
Right.
doing sales and everything since I was 5 too with my dad. So then I was like, all right, let's do this. So anyways, long story short, Anthony, the owner of the clothing line, started hustling me, because he was like, he knew I needed that you know what I mean, that door open. So he started taking advantage of me and him, and he was really shady for doing that.
Shit.
He never paid us any money.
Oh, shit.
We created a lot of money for him. We brought a lot of money to the table for him, and we never saw a penny out of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And that's just how I started learning how shady this industry is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
The
I've heard that
shadiness of it.
before.
Shadiness like crazy. So I said, okay, cool. But I'm the type of person that stays quiet about stuff like that.
Okay.
Because I learned you got to keep it cute with people.
All right.
In this industry. You might not like them, but if they respect you, then that's all you need.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So anyways, going back to that, the next thing you know, I figure, hey, I'm gonna start producing fashion shows.
Okay.
Because I said that's how I'm gonna start getting my name out there. And I'm just gonna finesse that with Anthony. I'm gonna let him think he's keeping his money, whatever,
Right.
cool. But I'm gonna get something back out of this.
Okay.
So then I started telling Adam, listen, we gotta produce some fashion shows, bro. And he's like, yeah, let's do it, blah, blah, blah. So I used to recruit the models from MySpace.
Oh, MySpace. Yo, what's up, MySpace? Yeah, I remember MySpace.
And Adam was a graphic designer, so my MySpace was
lit. Yeah, the
like
graphics
decked
and
out,
yeah,
like
yeah.
Can I cuss?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like a motherfucker. I was like, oh my God. I used to have a new song every day, new background, new whatever it was. So he knew how to do that. And I learned perception is everything in this business too.
Right.
Your reputation and presentation are very important. So
Right.
I used to dress very well. I used to, speak very professional to people. And then people started gravitating towards me, and they were like, oh man, like, what do you do? I was like, oh, I'm just, putting stuff together, events together. So if you ever need anything, let me know.
Right.
So the next thing you know, we do a big fashion show at this club, the Mansion, back in the day.
Where is that? Is that Costa Mesa or is that?
No, that's
LA?
on Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay.
The
Never went
Mansion
there. I
was-
was sorry. I wasn't exclusive in that. But
yeah,
I got you.
the Mansion was like popping back in the day. The I-Bar, which is the
It's like
I-Bar.
supper club? Is that where what level you, or is it like
That's like a high end
Alright,
club. Like you only the ballers got in
Mansion?
at the Mansion.
Alright,
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
So if you didn't get to the third floor, at the mansion.
Oh,
You
wait,
were
had
nobody.
floors?
You were nobody. Yes, they had levels to that. So I actually met this dude, D the Dragon, and he's part of the Wu-Tang clan too.
Oh, bet.
He's cousins with Reza and all of them.
All right.
So he started mentoring me too, because that dude was on some other Illuminati stuff and shit, and I was like, oh my god. So, but at that time I didn't understand it, right?
Yeah.
I was like, this dude's crazy.
You're like 19, 20, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a baby. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is this dude talking about, man? Like, what? He's hella crazy. So he actually taught me, he's like, everything in life is free. You shouldn't have to pay for anything at all. Everything is free. You're a goddess. Everything you want is gonna come your way. You just gotta put your celebrity game on and then walk into places and show them who the fuck you are. I was like, how the fuck am I gonna do all that? Damn. And I was like, okay. I'm like, this dude's hella crazy. So I was like, okay. So we actually went to eat at this restaurant one day, and this dude is like, they gave us the check, right? And I'm like, okay, so am I gonna pay? Are you gonna pay? He gets up and walks out of the restaurant, and I'm like,
oh shit.
fuck. I'm like, what am I gonna? What? So he's like, come on, let's go. Everything is free. And I'm like, oh my god, what? So I had no choice but to walk right behind him. And I'm thinking, oh my god, we're gonna get arrested. Oh hell no, what are we doing here? And then he gets out like nothing, and then he lived his life like that, so carefree, so whatever.
Shut the fuck up. Wait, nobody say, hey yo, your bill? Like,
nobody even said anything.
Was he big? Maybe?
People knew him. Of course he was really big and well known, but I'm thinking, damn, like
yo, if he goes eat at my
you're
restaurant,
just going to a restaurant
charged.
and then you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't think that was right in my head. I'm thinking, damn, like, these people need to get paid. What the heck?
Right. At least a tip.
At least a tip, brother. Like, damn. So, I'm just like, oh my God. So I'm never going to forget that.
Right.
But anyways, fast forward. He invites me to a gathering at the mansion. And he's on the third floor. That motherfucker was already like, hey, I'm already up here. So you work your way up. Right. I'm not bringing you.
He told you that?
Because I called him and I said, bro, I'm outside. Oh, that's cute. Come up here. I'm like, how am I going to get through all these motherfuckers?
Right.
What? Like, you don't understand. The security there was tight.
Right.
Like, you really have to be known in order to get there.
Because you have ballers and it's for safety reasons.
It's for safety reasons. I mean, P. Diddy was there all the time. Like, all these A-list celebrities were always on the third floor. So I'm like thinking, damn. So as I'm approaching the door, I see the bouncer and he's like, yeah, can I help you? Already all mean with attitude. And I was like, ah, shit. And I just said, and I just remember what he said. He's like, bring your celebrity game. You're a celebrity already. You're already somebody.
Right.
You just gotta believe it and project it.
Right.
I was like, fudge. So I was like, all right. So I walked up to him and I said, listen, I'm here because my friend's on the third floor, Lee the Dragon, and I'm his publicist and blah blah blah. And then I started talking and stuff, and he was like looking at me like, all right. And then I believed it when I was saying it. I really believed it. So he started feeling that energy, and he's like, all right, go ahead. I was like, oh shit, I made it. I made it to the level 1 of Jumanji.
yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
So I'm like, shit. So I'm going to the second floor now.
Right, which you have a gatekeeper there, I'm sure, too, right?
Right. So I have to finesse something too. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the same story and just, whatever. Now at this point I'm already more confident because I already opened the door, like already
the first one's the hardest, bro.
To the hardest, bro.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So then I'm approaching the second floor, and then the same deal with the bouncer was a little bit more apprehensive to let me in, because he was like, well, everybody says that, blah blah blah. And I said, he's waiting for me to close the deal right now, so it's either you're gonna let me go or do I need to call him to complain.
Right.
And at this point I was already like, oh shit, what did I just say? Like, I shouldn't have given him attitude, but I said that's the only way this is gonna work.
Boss up.
So he actually looked at me and said, all right, go ahead. I was like, oh, fudge, okay, ooh. So now we're getting to the third floor.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this is. I'm already all sweaty, and I'm like, man, like this is such a.
And by the way, were you by yourself?
I was by myself.
Oh shit. Okay.
I was by myself too. So.
All right. So third floor hits. What's
third
up?
floor hits. So I'm like, already there's 3 security guards now, 3 bouncers at the door, because now there's a bunch of celebrities in there in that little room. So I was like, oh man, so they're like tough like this and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm right there with my boy. But at that point, he's already in the middle of everybody. And he's like, hey, what's up, Barbara? You made it. Yeah, let her in. I was like,
oh shit, there you go.
I was like, oh hell no. You had me going through hell and back. And he's like, see, what did I tell you? You just had to believe in yourself, and you made it here. He's like, go ahead. Now they brought a bottle, and I never drank before. I never actually drank like that. So they brought all this food and stuff, and he's like, go ahead. Go ahead. You deserve all this and more because you're a goddess. And then he put a fur coat on me and all this other stuff. And he's like, see, I told you.
That's
I told you were going to make it. You're here now. Welcome to the club. And then he started introducing me to all this other heavy hitters and stuff like that. And the next thing you know, after that, it's crazy because everybody started hitting me up. Hey, I need you to do this for me. Hey, I need you to do that for me. Can we put a fashion show together? And I was like, yeah, for sure. So it was like, sometimes there will be days where production will start like in a week.
Right.
And I had a week only to put the damn event. Right.
Get the venue.
Get the venue,
everything.
Get the contracts together for the models, and get them to like, the fits. I mean, everything was just chaotic. And it was just me and Adam. So at that point, I told him, I said, bro, we need to leave Anthony. Ooh. Like the guy from the fashion, the clothing line. I said, that's it. Because we have given them enough clout, enough stuff. Now it's time for us to take care of ourselves.
Right.
And then he was like, oh, man, are you sure? Because they were really good friends. And I said, if you want to stick with this dude, go ahead.
Yeah, but
I'm out.
I got to move out.
So he actually stuck with him for a little bit longer, and I bounced.
Good.
And I said,
good
I'm
for
out.
you. Yeah, you had to fly.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
I'm out. So that's how.
So you start producing fashion shows.
Right.
And if people don't know, like back in the days, I mean, and I'm talking about me growing up, like fashion was a big deal. Like I remember looking at Diddy doing his Sean John and Fat Farm and Baby Fat, and there's no way you can introduce clothing to our culture without having a fashion show, if that makes sense. Like
exactly.
It's like a must do, you know what I mean?
It's a must.
All right, so you start doing that, you start plugging yourself in with celebrities, right?
Yes.
And what that develops into what?
That develops into me becoming a publicist.
Okay.
Which I didn't even know what that was. I was like.
And for a lot of people who don't know what that is, because I don't think a lot of us know what that is. Can you explain to us what a publicist is?
Yes. So publicist.
And by the way, they go by PR, right? PR.
PR is okay. So PR is different. A lot of people. That's misconception about our job.
Okay,
it's not. We're not referred as PRs. We're referred as publicists.
Okay.
PR is public relations. That's just a short term from that. But a lot of people call us PRs because they don't know any better, obviously. So that's fine. But just so you know, it's publicists.
Okay,
it's
publicists. All right, so go ahead. My bad interrupting.
No, it's all good. It's all good, just.
Go ahead. No, but that's good that you're educating me on that.
No, I mean, and it's just for everybody, not just you. I mean, a lot of people don't know, you know what I mean? So, but it's fine. It happens. But yeah, our job as publicists basically is to do, number one, branding, because we have to make sure that our client becomes famous.
Okay.
He's known or she's known, the visibility. We write press releases. So it's not about just going to events. Everybody sees the glam and the events and the award shows and blah blah blah, but they don't get to see that behind the scenes.
Right.
So we have to be constantly like building relationships with the media outlets like CNN, Fox, everything, and then also sending out press releases for the projects for our new clients. Then we also have to be negotiating brand deals for the clients, and we also have to be constantly on the phone with new people that try to say, whoa, your client did this, but your client did that. And so that's the damage control of the situation. That's where the media comes in. But there's a lot more than just the events that you guys get to see on social media.
Right. And so ultimately, at what point do you feel a client needs your services? How does he need your services? I mean, I think everyone needs your services, but how do you feel that comes about? I
feel that at some point it hits some, especially musicians, it hits some where they're not getting enough clout, so to speak. And I'm using that language because that's the language. That's the language that we're using nowadays. You know what I mean? So they're not getting the visibility that they need.
Right.
So they're not getting published, their music is not playing well on whatever platform. They're not getting talked about.
Okay. And so that's when they will come to you.
Right. So they realize, they're like, hey man, I need a publicist, man, because that's what we do.
Got you. Is that what you currently specialize in right now?
Yes, that's what I currently specialize in. Right. Yeah.
Now, just going back a little bit, so you do go from doing fashion shows to going into publishing, right?
Right.
How do you transition into that? Because that's not. I feel like there's two separate networks.
They go hand in hand together,
okay.
In a way, and the reason why is because you are networking with people all the time. You are talking to people. You are kind of like problem solving for people. So in the productions for fashion shows, you have to problem solve certain situations when things don't go right.
Right.
So it's the same deal with a client where, my reality stars, clients, they always go through all kinds of like stuff.
Right.
They're like, oh, situations where like, oh my God, she said this about me, or, whatever. So you always have to problem solve for them.
Okay.
So that's how that goes hand in hand with, with the whole publicity.
And then you go into that, and who's your first client? Like, how does that even work out?
Yeah, that's so crazy. Actually, we were at this red carpet in Vegas, and it was Nate Dogg. Rest in peace.
Oh man, I love Nate Dogg. Smoke weed every day.
I know.
That's
Nate.
my dude. That's what's up.
Rest in peace, Nate.
So that was your first client?
So that was my first client.
Yeah. Well, how does he go? Do you approach him? He approaches you for the services?
Actually, I approached him at the time because I was barely new. I was fairly new, and I was barely starting. So one of my friends, Eric Zulli, he's a publicist too. He started mentoring me on the publicist thing because he's the one that brought it up, and he was like, "Hey, you should be a publicist. You know, you talk to people, you make connections. You just need to learn the business side of things." And I said, "Okay, well, shoot, I guess." So we were in Vegas at the Magic Show.
Okay.
You know, that's another big fashion stuff in Vegas. And we actually had P. Diddy and other people that we helped with production as well at that time. And we went into this venue, and he was like, "Hey," and you know, to me, Nate was like, he's my idol to this day.
People might not know, but he was a huge. First of all, you don't have a hit without him. Let's just start there, right?
Let's just start there. Yeah.
He was like, I don't know what to compare him nowadays, but like
you can't compare him.
You couldn't have him. Yeah, you couldn't have a hit without him. Nope. He had to be in your song. You know what I mean?
He had to be in your song to be a hit.
To be a hit. That's
to be a hit. Exactly.
Yeah,
you had to have Nate on that song to be like huge. So Nate to me was very special because also when I got here, I started listening to a lot of Nate because of Tupac, obviously. You know, because he also had him in his songs and all that stuff. So I started doing my research on Nate, on Corrupt, on Roscoe, on everybody.
West Coast.
Das, you know, everybody. MC8. So I'm like, hey man, like, you know, that's that. And that I became fascinated with that. And I started studying the history of it because I felt like if I was going to pursue this career, you need to be knowledgeable on the history on what you're about to pursue as a career. You know what I mean? You cannot just be throwing your stats out there and then people ask you, okay, so what year did, you know, NWA break up or whatever. You still need to know those facts if you're gonna be in this kind of culture and business. But anyway, so I met Nate for the first time through my friend Eric.
All right.
And I was like, oh my God. I was so starstruck. I was like, oh my goodness, it's Nate Dogg. Like I was like, okay, I can die in peace now.
You're good to go.
I'm good to go after this. Right. And he was such a sweetheart, such a sweet man, very knowledgeable, very helpful. We talked several times on the phone, and he was like, hey, you know, anything you need. He was super funny too.
That's so dope.
He was
a
comedian, man. He could have been a comedian too.
I saw his performance once back in the days. Used to have a concert for the West Coast that I was called P2 or P1. I can't freaking remember, but Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg was there. I mean, it was just everybody was there. Corrupt was there. Right. So you're at this red carpet event. Kind of that's where we're at, and that's where Nate Dogg. That's where you meet Nate Dogg.
Yeah, that's why it was his birthday party. So okay. Actually,
were you producing that birthday party or somebody else?
Yes, it was me and Eric. We're producing that birthday party.
Dope.
But I kind of like knew he was gonna be there, but I didn't know he was, you know, everything was gonna start developing into a friendship and you know, those things. And at that moment too, he was already being like feeling sick because he had 5 strokes.
By that time
he had already had.
Around what year is this?
This is 2003.
Oh shit!
I think 2003 or 4. So he was already pretty sick. After that party, I noticed he wasn't feeling good. Because I was in his VIP section. We were talking whatever, and then he started complaining about his lungs hurting or something like that. He looked so tired. First of all, and he was performing, and I was like, I kind of noticed his energy wasn't there.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, what's going on? Then after, obviously he disappeared because they rushed him to the hospital right after. And then I asked Eric, I'm like, where's Nate? And he's like, oh, he was taken to the hospital. And I was like, oh shoot. So we were all concerned, obviously. And then a few months after that, he passed.
Damn.
So technically that was the last time I saw him.
So you guys probably got to spend some time together and get to know in a friendship level more than a business level, right?
Yes.
But that helped you propel you to what I'm assuming more clients, etc. Right?
Yes, because I started, getting more into this hip hop, scene kind of, which is what I loved anyway. So I was like, oh yay. And then I met Melvin Ace, which is the godfather of Latin hip hop, and he came up with the song Mentirosa way back in the day. And he actually is the one. A lot of people don't know this, but he's the one that started Cypress Hill.
Oh shit!
His brother is Sen Dog.
Okay,
so they're siblings. So then when I met him, I started like talking to him, and I was like, hey dude, like just we met through MySpace actually.
Shut up.
And I was like,
that's crazy.
It's so funny because I used to go by the infamous Baby Girl.
That was your nickname? Yeah, I think we all had a nickname back in the days, though.
Dude, it was hella funny. I was going through my stage of like not knowing who I was. So I was just naming myself all these random ass names and nicknames, and then people were like, okay.
No, but everybody had a nickname.
It was like so funny, and then it's so funny because we met at the Rainbow at the bar and grill on Sunset Boulevard, right? Because everything was popping back then, and if you were at the Rainbow, you were popping. I
bet. Yeah. I'm sorry for me. I don't know what the hell is the Rainbow. Is
the Rainbow's a bar and grill?
Okay, yeah. Back.
So, but Paris Hilton.
Kind of like the Ivy, no?
It's kind of like the it's kind of like that too. It's just more. Like it was more upscale. You know what I mean? Like a lot of A-list celebrities used to pull up and hang out or whatever. Because down the street we had the Whiskey.
Okay.
Whiskey at Go. So it's like if you're at the Whiskey, if you're performing at the Whiskey, that's like you already made it.
Okay.
That was a big venue for all the artists and stuff. So we met at the Rainbow, and then I'm pulling up, right, and then I'm like walking towards him, and he's like, "Infamous."
Oh, wait, hold on. He recognized you like that?
He recognized me because we used to talk on MySpace. Gotcha. So, I was meeting with him, and he looked at me and he's like, "Infamous?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Mello." And he's like, "Yeah, what's up?" And then we started hugging each other, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's such a pleasure to meet you. Right. You're such a legend, blah, blah, blah." And then, I was like, "Oh my God, this is like a big legend right here." Right. I was like, "Oh shoot." So then we started talking about how we were going to work together. And he's like, "So what do you do?" And so I told him, I said, I'm good at putting events and networking and stuff like that, but I'm a hustler too. So if you need help with any promotions, because remember back then we used to do the street teams, remember?
Oh my God. Yes. You just took me there. The street
team promotion was heavy back in the day.
Yeah. And people don't understand it's because of the fact that streaming wasn't the business.
No,
so
not at all.
It's the physical
interaction
with the people that get the sales of the albums out, right? The CDs, right?
Yes.
Facts. Okay,
all that stuff. So, CDs were heavy back in the day. Yep. So you had to do the footwork with people. Sure. You know what I mean? So then, right. So I was like, "Hey, you want me to put together a street team for you? Like, what do you want me to do?" And he's like, "All right, listen." He's like, "Why don't we do this?" And he's like, "Why don't you start selling tickets for us?" And, for me and Be Real and San, we sometimes perform at the Whiskey. So if you can sell 150 tickets, then we're going to hire you. And I was like, okay, holy shit. And then it was tough because I used to go to the mall, right? And I used to be like, "Hey, I'm selling tickets." But I'm thinking in my head, how are people really going to know if these tickets are legit?
And here, there used to be a lot of scam artists coming up on money based on fake tickets.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can understand the challenge.
That was the first challenge that I had to encounter. So I was like, "Fudge, man." So I'm thinking in my head, all right. So the first few times that I went out there was rough because people were like, "Are you sure?" Like, and then this is in Ventura County.
Right.
So I'm selling tickets from people to drive all the way to LA.
Oh, shit.
And I'm sorry, but sometimes people from the 805 are not really open-minded like that.
Facts,
you feel me?
So but it's everywhere. It's not just 805.
Yeah.
People don't want to
people don't want to drive. You know what I mean? So they're afraid to, go to another city or whatever. So I'm like, all right, man, like, what am I going to do? So I came up with a strategy, and I went up to Mello and I said, "Bro, mind you, I still sold out of tickets regardless because I'm good at talking to people. I used to sell the LA Times."
Okay.
So
the newspaper?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I used to work on a call center.
Okay.
And I used to finesse people into buying and subscribing to the newspaper.
That's crazy. Something that you did not know was going to go away at one point.
Gotcha. So I was like, "God damn, this prepared me for this ticket sales." Facts. So then I'm talking to people and I'm like, "No, this is going to be a great concert. We got Be Real. We got this, that." And then so I'm going to the homies, right? Because that's where, that's the demographic.
Right.
And they're like, and then, I used to dress all sexy and stuff. And,
okay.
And they were like, "All right, man, I'm going to buy it. Yeah, I'm going to buy it. But are you going to be there?" "Yeah, I'll be there." So like, okay, cool. But then obviously I had to also sell it to the ladies, right? So I was like, man, like, how am I going to do this? So I went up to Mello and I said, hey, would it be okay if you guys probably kind of create a jacket for me that says my name and it has your logo with, because at that moment Sen and Mello were doing the Reyes brothers.
Okay.
They became the Reyes brothers, so they were doing a project together as siblings or whatever. So I said, can you guys do a jacket that says Reyes brothers on the back and it has my name on the collar and my name in the front?
Yeah.
And then he's like, that's a good idea. All right, we can work with that. And so the next day he's like, all right, let me go ahead and do that for you. So it took a couple of days or whatever, and then he calls me. He's like, hey, baby girl, because they used to call me baby girl.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, baby girl, we got your jacket. And I was like, oh my God. So I ran to the venue, and at that time his wife, Tammy, she pulls me to the side and she's like, are you ready? Are you ready to see it? I was like, yeah, oh my God. So I'm all excited and shit. I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm part of the club now, whatever.
Facts.
So they give me my jacket and it looks all legit, all badass and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. So then the next time, actually, when they handed me the tickets, I went out there all confident and shit.
Yeah. You got your work uniform right now.
I my work uniform, exactly. So that gave me that stamp
certified.
of approval.
You certified gangster.
You're good.
Yeah.
Right, because they had my name, I had my nickname, I had all this other stuff. So people were like, oh, she's legit. Like, because nobody had that jacket, obviously. There was no way I could just get it.
Right.
And they were like, oh, hell yeah. So I started selling those tickets like pancakes. Like, people are like, oh, hell yeah. And then on top of everything, I was really good at talking to people.
So where and I'm just picking your mind here. Where did you go? What locations did you hit up? Malls? What did you hit up?
Yeah, I used to look at the map, and I used to be like, okay, people are gonna be here, and I knew the peak hours, and I used to go to McDonald's too.
Okay.
Because those were my stomping grounds.
Right.
So,
right.
So I already knew at like lunch breaks and all that good stuff. So I used to just hang around there.
Got you.
And be like, hey guys, I'm selling these tickets online, and some people will look at me crazy, like, well, girl, you're crazy.
Yeah.
And some, oh yeah, give me 5, give me 10, and the next thing you know, I used to just, like, at the end of the night, I used to walk out with like a stack of money.
Damn.
A stack of money. And then Mello was already calling me the day of the concert. Where are you at? We need you here, because they needed to pay the promoters and break everybody off.
Shit.
They're like, we need to give the money to everybody.
And you had the money?
And I had the money. They will rely on me for that.
They had a lot of faith in you, girl.
A lot. So Mello will be like, where you at? Where you at? And I used to be rushing, like, from Oxnard, mind you, from Oxnard all the way to Hollywood Boulevard. So that was an hour and a half for me.
Hell yeah.
So every single concert, I will be like, oh my God, rushing, like, to get to the venue. And then Mello was like, we need the money. Come on, where are you at? And I was like, oh, shoot. So I used to just pull up, find parking, whatever, and then run to the front door and be like, okay, here. Because Sean Haley was like the biggest promoter for, you know what I mean, for this concerts.
And I don't know who Sean Haley is, but
Sean Haley, yeah. He's still pretty big to this day. Yeah. So he's one of the biggest promoters in LA for, for concerts, for the Whiskey and the Viper Room and all those on Sunset. Yeah, he's very big. But anyway, so Sean used to always call me to and be like, hey Barbara, we need this, the tickets, blah, blah, blah. Where you at, girl? And I was like, oh my God, I'm coming. So then we used to go on this little room, and then Tammy, his wife at that time, used to be like, all right, give me the money. So then boom, and everybody will be like, they used to take care of me too. Right. Here's your share, blah, blah, blah. Then they will all go, to stage and do whatever they need to do.
Got you. That's crazy.
So I was like the main person to be like paying everybody, kind of, because I put in all that work, from morning to night.
Cool. That's a lot of grinding, and people don't realize that's not a guaranteed check.
It's not.
You know what I mean? And
it's tough to sell tickets, man.
It is tough. It is really tough, and I understand why it's tough, because again, like there's a lot of scam artists. So during that time, there's not like good rep. So
right.
So you had a lot of credibility. I think the jacket idea was great, though. Man.
Yeah. I had to have a stamp of approval. You know what I mean? Something that was like a marketing strategy for me, because then that made it easier for me to sell them.
Right.
But like, oh, okay, she's legit. She's part of the crew.
You've gone through producing shows.
Yeah.
You've gone through promotion. That's heavy promotion, though.
Yeah.
Okay, that's heavy promotion.
Yeah.
Street team, etc. So what's next? What happened?
So after that, I was like, all right, cool. So I was still finding myself and what I wanted to do.
Right.
And then finally I said, all right, man, like, I'm going to start getting my own clients. I'm gonna start really going heavy into the publicity stuff.
All right.
So then that's when Melo's like, all right, so if that's what you want to do, then I'll introduce you to other people, other artists, and you start managing them or whatever you want to do. But at that moment, I was really confused between management and publicity.
Okay.
Because management is some other stuff that's more hands on deck with the artists. You got to be traveling with them. You got to be booking them for shows and all that good stuff. So I hated doing that. I hated doing the management side of things.
And obviously you did it for you to hate it.
I did it. Yeah, I did it. And I was good at it, but I didn't like it.
You didn't like it.
Because you had to be really hands-on with the artists. I was like, I don't want to do that.
And is there a reason? Is it hard to babysit artists? What was the challenges, or was the dislike of the job? What you didn't like?
I feel it was the whole like partying where they wouldn't take it serious sometimes.
So
like
they party too much?
They party too much at the studio. They party too much at at events or whatever it was. And it is a babysitting job at the end of the day.
I've heard that. That's the reason I say that babysitting.
You have to make sure that they make it home okay, because they become part of your family too. It's not just a business gig. You also become family with them. You're marrying somebody when you do publicity and management for them.
Really?
It's a marriage commitment.
So how long did that last where you're just like, okay, we're breaking this off?
Oh yeah, no. It probably lasted about 6 months.
Okay.
And
you go full force into what?
Into publicity.
At this point, do you know this is what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I made up my mind because I was like, okay, this is bringing good money. Because then I signed, after that, who did I sign? I think it was my boy, Red Grant, a comedian. And then my boy, Omar Benson Miller, which is on Ballers. And he's been in a lot of movies with 50 and Eminem and all these things. And then I met him, and then he started mentoring me too. He was like, hey, this is what you do. This is, how you go about situations, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then I started, getting into more publicity stuff with him.
Okay.
And then I learned how to pitch clients for red carpet events, for radio interviews, for all that good stuff, TV appearances. And I'm like, damn, this is a lot of work, but I like it.
Right.
It feels good when you're starting specifically with people with up and coming artists that don't have that clout. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like a baby, right? You actually birth that.
Yeah,
that baby, and then you see him crawling, and then you see him walking, and then you see him running.
Okay.
And you're like, sure, like that. I feel like that was
moment.
Right. It's a proud moment because you're like, damn, I did that. Like I was part of this journey.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then the next thing you know, I started working with Raz B from B2K. I met Raz through one of my friends, and me and him became really close, and we do have some history together.
How close? How close were we? Just for the people that know how close. That's all.
We're really close. We were dating. We're definitely an item back in the day.
Oh, facts.
And it was all love. Love is puppy love. Obviously, we still love each other very much to this day.
But during that time, if I remember correctly, B2K was huge.
Oh yeah, they were huge. I mean, it was to the point where we couldn't go to the mall. We couldn't do anything. We had to have a bodyguard with us. And then at some point, I don't know what we were thinking. We went to the basketball court to play basketball and stuff. And then these Armenian dudes were there, and they weren't crazy. It was worse than girls. I was like, damn, okay.
No way.
They were like, oh my God, it's Raspy from B2K. Oh my goodness. They went super crazy, dude. And I was like, I guess it hit me right there and then. You know what I mean? Because for me, Raz was just, a regular person to me.
Yeah, it was a homie. It was a homie.
Friend. It was a friend. I didn't see him as a superstar that he was.
Right.
And it hit me when we got there, and then they went hella crazy.
They went like, groupie style, and these are guys. I got you.
I know.
It
was so surreal for me to see that. I was like, I seen it with girls.
Right.
Obviously.
Right. And he's an attractive man, so that makes sense, right? But from a man to act like like a groupie, that's just like,
I get it, because it's a whole different culture, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I guess, it was like a whole fanning out thing, like, oh my God, it's Raspy. But, they went super crazy for him.
Y'all were just doing normal shit. Y'all were just like, like dating shit, like, yo, let's go play some ball, whatever.
Yeah, we used to hang out and drive around and listen to his songs, and he used to sing in the car, and I used to tell him, no, I don't like that, or I like this, or this is not going to work, or this is gonna work. So he will always, because I have a good ear for music. I've been in the studio with so many people before and so many artists that I do have the ear.
Educated ear.
Yeah, educated ear. When I can hear the beats and I'm like, hey, that's gonna work. That's not a hit. That's not a hit. So then he used to ask me those things, and he's like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I was like, no, I don't like that. Oh, I'm feeling that. And so we used to drive around just talking about music and the beats and all that good stuff. And then we both loved to play basketball. So I was like, hey, there's a basketball court down there, and it was empty at that time.
Right.
So So we're like, hey, let's go shoot some hoops or whatever. And he's like, yeah. So we pulled up, and then I guess somebody recognized them, and they call all these other people, and then the next thing you know, everybody's like coming towards us. They're like, it's Rasby from B2K. Oh my God. And I was like, holy shit.
Damn. And there's no security,
and
right?
We didn't have security with us at that time.
Shit.
It was just us, like, driving around. So I was like, holy shit, what are we gonna do? Oh my God. So I was like, just act cool, whatever. I don't think they're gonna do.
Act like you're in control.
Yeah, like you're in control. Like, we're good. I don't think they're gonna do anything dangerous or anything crazy. But and he was like, yeah. And then Raz was super cool with everybody, with his fans. Like, he was super respectful, super loving. That's he was never an asshole. Like,
I've never heard bad things about him. I just heard girl problems. That's it.
Yeah.
But who in B2K didn't have girl problems? Let's just be clear about that.
Oh God, they all had problems.
Facts.
I mean, I represent Little Fiz's baby's mama too.
Oh,
so Monique Slaughter from Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah. I know. I've seen
she's
her.
one of my clients right now too.
Oh,
so
dope. Shout out to her.
Shout out to Monique.
Yeah, so she went through it. I'm sorry, baby. Just you got through
it.
She understands what we're talking about.
She definitely does. So, but that's a whole different level because they have a child together.
Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean? So they have camp. We just celebrated his birthday last week. So
how old is he now?
He turned 11, I think.
Oh shit!
11
Time
or
flies.
12. Yeah,
that's crazy.
He's my son's age too.
No way.
Yeah, so they play together too. And stuff
that's
like
dope. That's super dope.
Yeah.
So you go through the process of dating him.
Yeah.
Building a friendship, a bond, and what happens from there?
So then things start to get a little crazy.
Right.
And, we talked about this in a lot of different occasions about the whole Chris Stokes situation. And then...
Can you touch base on that a little bit? Like, what do you mean? Yeah. What was that situation about?
Well, Chris Stokes...
and who is he? Who is Chris Stokes?
Chris Stokes is a big movie producer, and he's a very big executive producer in the industry. So he's produced movies like You Got Served, things like that. And he's very powerful.
Okay.
He's a very powerful man.
Okay.
Which
we ain't got beef with you, player.
No,
just, you know what I'm saying? Don't shut my podcast down now.
Yeah, please don't.
All right, bet. All right, so.
But yeah, so, we started talking about this whole incident that happened because he sexually molested Raz, when he was in B2K. And Raz used to talk about it with me and, confided in me this whole situation. And so obviously I never said anything. But then he went public with it. He went on YouTube and I think he did a YouTube video with Ricky, with his brother.
Okay.
And he spoke about the whole incident and what was going on at that time with this whole sexual molestation from Chris. And it's not a secret. Everybody knows. It just makes me feel really angry when I talk about that because I know that a lot of people don't know Raz and don't know what he's about and have judged him for that. You know what I mean? So, and nobody believed him at that time.
That's crazy.
When he went public with it.
Yeah. They maybe thought it was like a stunt he was trying to bust.
Yeah, and then Chris blackmailed him too.
Ooh.
And he had to go to China for several years.
He had to go to China for what reason? I'm sorry.
Because he couldn't work here in the States anymore.
Oh, because
Chris pretty much blackmailed him everywhere.
Because he's that powerful.
Because he went public with it. So obviously Chris wasn't gonna you know what I mean? Sit there and take it. So he definitely shut him down.
Wow, that's crazy. So he goes to China and does something.
So he goes to China and then he starts producing shows.
You didn't go to China, I'm assuming.
No. I didn't go to China. No. I stayed.
You're like, he didn't shut me down. My
I was like, I'm here. I'm here to stay, baby boy. Yeah, exactly. So no, I mean that was a whole different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So he takes that avenue, goes to China. What do you do when he obviously takes that route? And that's something he has to do, not necessarily something you got to do.
Right.
So you continue to expand your business?
Yeah, I continue to expand my business, keep moving forward, signing new clients and stuff like that. And then, just I feel really sad that he had to go through that.
Right.
But we still talked when he was in China almost every day. And, he would always call me and be like, hey, Barb, I'm trying to do this. And he spoke several times about bringing B2K back.
Right.
And people wouldn't believe it. People were like, no, you guys are not coming back like that. That was it. Give it up. It's like it happened 10 years after that. He made it happen.
That's crazy.
He put the whole
squad
band together. Yeah. And then Demir Shouts to the mayor. He and Raz actually were the ones that put the whole tour together. But obviously,
what was the big fallout out of them? Because I don't even remember what happened between that group.
I feel like it was just a lot of egos.
Okay.
You know what I mean? A lot of like, I'm better than you, and like, and obviously they don't get along.
Yeah. Now it's obvious.
It's like they never got along to begin with. So it's not like they were in a brotherhood. You know what I mean? It was just more of it was a business,
Gotcha.
It's like, okay, we're a group, we're making money, that makes sense. But at some point they got tired of it. Some people were like, this is too much already, I want to do my own thing, so they kind of break it up.
Got you. And then they just kind of,
they went their separate ways and their separate projects.
Okay. And what is that you ended up doing? I mean, where do you go from here?
So, I mean, I'm still in contact with him at that time. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, but anyways, that's a whole different story. So I'm still signing clients and stuff like that.
Right.
And then I find myself into social activism.
Okay.
So along the way, because I experienced during my career, during my come up as a publicist,
Right.
I was dating this guy and I really loved him a lot, fell in love, the whole thing. And I used to bring him to all my events so he could see what I was doing and,
What industry was he in, just so I can get an understanding?
He was a salesman.
Got it.
He was not in
But
this,
not like in la cultura of like hip hop or rap or anything like that.
No,
Gotcha,
not at all.
gotcha.
Not at
Okay.
all. No, he was
Gotcha.
just,
Sales for a company.
Sales
Gotcha.
for a company,
Gotcha.
he was not involved in this whole
How
industry.
the fuck did he win your heart though? Because I feel like you're so heavily involved with the culture. Like, when did you have time to escape, girl?
Right?
Let's talk about that.
Let's
What
talk
were
about
you
that.
doing?
Well, my brother used to work at this call center
Okay.
where I used to work at the LA Times. And then he was like, oh, there's my manager, and I guess I picked him up once from work. And
Picked up your brother?
My brother.
Okay.
And then I guess this guy was coming downstairs and he was like, hey, is that your sister? Oh my God, she's so fine. Like, can you introduce me to her? Blah, blah, blah. And my brother's like, whoa, you're tripping.
Down. Yeah, slow down.
Slow down there, brother.
Yeah,
So he was like, he actually made that move, but he was very persistent. Like,
the dude was really persistent.
persistent
About like
being
meeting
with-
you or hanging out with you?
hanging out with me.
All right,
And I
okay.
was not into him at all. I was not into him at
I
all
feel like it's a
whatsoever.
whole different industry too. Like,
I mean, not even that. It's just that, he wasn't really my type. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh, like, I don't know. I wasn't attracted to him like that. You know what I mean? But then I started getting to know him more, and he was just like me, a lot like me, because he was a hustler too. He knew how to talk to people. He knew how to, he was a salesman, so obviously.
Right. He was good at that.
He was good at that.
Yeah,
so
he sold you.
He sold me the dreams. Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, okay.
You fell.
I fell for it for sure. So he was good.
Right, yeah, because you're good.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like they say, you cannot hustle a hustler, but he did. He got through me, and I was like, okay, for fudge. So I guess I'm stuck with this dude now. And we dated for about 6 months, and then I was like, okay. So I started falling in love with him, obviously,
Right.
Because his personality was really charming. He was a charmer. So I was like, all right. And then like about 9 months, everything started to change.
Ooh.
He started showing me his true colors and who he was as a person. And it got really ugly. It got physical.
Did he hit you?
Yeah, he hit me.
Oof.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, he hit me. And I was really young too. I was 24, 25. And then I became pregnant. And I was
Ooh.
like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? This is all happening during my come up as a publicist.
Do you feel it was, when you say come up, it was at a moment where your stuff was peaking?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Okay.
yeah.
So that adds stress to what you're doing on a personal level.
Right.
A lot of people don't know how tough shit it is to manage a professional career, grow your own business, and knowing that behind closed door, you're dealing with a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Right. All
Yeah.
right.
Dealing
Okay.
with a lot of put downs and a lot of, what are you doing? And why are you coming home so late? And you're cheating on me and all this other stuff. And, just a long story short with that, it became really an abusive relationship.
So I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It was a verbal abuse, physical abuse,
And financial.
and financial abuse. He took advantage.
Oh, yeah, because I was the only one working at that time.
And
And
he wasn't.
He wasn't working. He stopped working because he was like, like, oh, well, you got it, you know, I'll just take care of the house and then you go out there and work and I'll be supportive. And I was like, all right, cool. You know, I'm in my head thinking, okay, he's about to support me, you know, that's what's up.
But he became like a jealous freak.
Yes. Then he became really possessive and jealous and controlling. And then he started manipulating me with, well, I'm going to go to your parents and tell them what you're doing. And, you know, and I don't want you talking to this friend. And they start isolating you from people. Those people are very controlling. So then I was like, I wasn't allowed to talk to my mom. I wasn't allowed to talk to my friends. Then I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? You know, I'm like, oh my goodness. So then it got really ugly. And yeah, I mean, he sent me to the hospital. It was that bad.
Shit.
It was that bad to the point where
Do you remember that night where he put your hand? What exactly went down? Like you're walking in from work and he just it became an argument.
Basically, no, I was supposed to go to an event.
Okay.
And
were you looking extra sexy?
I was I was actually leaving pretty late, which was like 9 or 10 because the events back in the day were a little bit later than now, like because they were at clubs, you know what I mean? So it was like 10, 11 or something like that. And I was like, I gotta go. And he was like, no, like, where are you going? Oh my God, you're always out and about. And what the heck? You're gonna go see a dude. And, you know, it just escalated into me pushing him out of the way. Then he pushed me back. Then he kicked me and, you know, like basically like threw me to the ground and I couldn't get up anymore. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? My cell phone was like flew out like somewhere. Thank God I was able to reach it and call 911, but I couldn't get up. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't get up. Like I knew I was pregnant already at that time.
Wait, hold on. You were pregnant during this? I was
pregnant during this and he knew it.
Oh shit.
He freaking knew it too.
That's insane.
And he kicked me in my stomach because he was like thinking, oh, maybe I can, you know what I mean? Maybe I can cause a miscarriage or something. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. Yeah. But obviously he
wasn't thinking though.
He aimed through my, you know, to my stomach. So he
on purpose is what you're saying.
Right. Okay. So it was premeditated. You know what I mean? Like kind of like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna do this because I don't want, for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Then I called 911 and I was like, oh my God, like I can, you know, I can get up and my boyfriend just kicked me, whatever. And so he ran away. He actually ran through the back door. The coward actually didn't even stay. He ran away. Then the cops came over, then the ambulance came over, and then obviously he got arrested like a couple of days later or whatever. But when I got to the hospital, I got an ultrasound and they were like, well, the baby doesn't have a heartbeat anymore. And I was like, yeah. So
you had a miscarriage.
I had a miscarriage and I had to go back home and prepare for all of that by myself. And I was like, holy shit, that thing hurt. So I was like,
that was
emotionally, physically, and all that stuff. So, you know, I can speak about it now because I had a lot of therapy. I had a lot of healing and, you know, I'm like, I'm okay. But it's very traumatizing to go through stuff like that. It's like very extremely. So that's why I'm very big on mentoring young girls like that I see on abusive or toxic relationships. And I'm like, you don't need to do the same thing that I did. You know what I mean? And I actually am very proud. I have saved girls from dangerous relationships because I pulled them to the side and I sat down and I work with them and I told them, you know, you don't need to go through this. You're valuable. You're worth it. You're beautiful. Whatever it is.
You're a goddess.
You're a goddess. Yes. Right. All that good stuff.
Yeah.
And it finally sank in their head and they're like, oh man, like, yeah, I don't need to be with this man. But it takes a lot to walk out of that abusive relationship.
I bet. Did you return after that situation or you walked out of the relationship at that point?
That was the breaking point. That was when I finally said, okay, that's enough. That is enough. And then actually J-Lo has a movie about that too. It's called Enough.
Okay.
Yeah, where you know she has an abusive husband and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you take a step back, I would call it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you had to reevaluate yourself emotionally, just get yourself together.
Yeah.
And then what do you do from there?
From there, I mean, I start going harder in my career because that gave me that fuel to be like, all right, well.
The comeback is always better.
The comeback is always better, man. I said, oh, really?
Yeah. This is the fuel I needed.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah,
and that actually was very spiritual awakening too, because then that gave me the purpose in life that I was desperately looking for, to give back to people in my community and other young women to empower them.
Right.
And to be like, you don't need to go through all that stuff that I went through. You know what I mean? And to encourage them also to become whatever they wanted to become in life, whether it was a housewife or whatever it was, whatever it was. I felt like I needed to be that voice to give them that power.
Right.
And say, you can do it. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
Look at me.
Right.
Everything that I went through, and I'm still here.
Right.
So then I started collaborating with more publicists.
Okay.
Because that was another thing that I felt in my head it was really important to do.
Right.
Because a lot of people here are very in competition with each other. A lot of publicists are very much in competition with other publicists.
Gotcha.
And I'm not like that. I'm not like that.
That's not your style.
No, not at all.
I like
a lot of people that know me, I'm always bringing something to the table, and I'm like, hey, you guys want to?
Everybody can eat.
Yeah, you guys want to collaborate with this? Hey, we got this coming, or we got that coming, and oh my God, yes. And I collaborate with a lot of publicists, but a lot of publicists don't do the same thing.
Gotcha.
They kind of feel like, oh, she's about to steal my client, or she's about to do, whatever.
Right. And they feel some type of way.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of respect that in a way, because there are people like that. I came across a publicist that tried to steal one of my clients.
No way.
From Nickelodeon. I started working with Nickelodeon actors.
Okay.
And I started representing Sheldon Bailey, which is on a show called Game Shakers with Kel Mitchell, which is the homie. We met through one of our mutual friends, and he was like, hey, I need publicity, because he was trying to do his music. And I was like, yeah, for sure. So then we started working together, and then I used to be on Nickelodeon a lot on the set with him.
Right.
And behind the scenes, watching how they created the whole show and all that good stuff. And then at that moment, I think it was the anniversary of iCarly, which is another Nickelodeon show.
Okay.
And I was a very big fan of iCarly, and I was like, oh my God. And then so I took my kids, and it was like a whole kid moment.
Right.
I was like, oh my God. And I was fanning out again. I was like, oh my God, it's iCarly, and all the actors, the set, whatever, the cast. And so anyways, but that day we went out to eat.
Okay.
And this publicist lady traveled from Phoenix.
Okay.
Because that's where she's from.
Gotcha.
Not dropping names, but she's gonna tell you where she's from.
Yeah. Okay.
So she traveled from Phoenix, right? And she's like, hey, she called me. She's like, hey, Barb, I'm about to go to Phoenix, and I'm about to go to LA and visit you. And I was like, yeah. And actually, it's funny because my client at that time, Sheldon, asked me to find him a manager.
Okay.
And I said, and I'm thinking in my head, maybe this lady could be, his manager.
Right.
We can all work together.
Right.
Right. And in my head, I'm thinking,
you're being so naive in a sense.
Right. Exactly.
But in a very positive way.
You're absolutely right. Because, I'm like, oh yeah. And, I consider her a friend.
Right.
Because me and her known each other. We have known each other by then, about a year.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, she's shown me nothing but love, blah, blah, blah. But realistically speaking, she was out to get my clients.
Mm-hmm.
So then,
without telling you,
right? Without telling me,
she wasn't out front.
Hidden agenda, obviously. And I was like, great. So anyways, so she lands in LA, whatever. She called me. She's like, hey, let's have dinner. So after his filming, I was like, hey, Sheldon, I want to introduce you to one of my friends, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, yeah. She could be your manager. We can all do great things. I could still do the publicity. She'll do the management, blah, blah, blah. He's like, okay, cool. So then we're meeting, right? The meeting goes great. And she's all like, oh my God, thank you so much, for introducing me to Sheldon. You're the best, blah, blah, blah. And the next morning, I get a phone call from Sheldon, and Sheldon's like, hey, your girl just sent me an email. And I'm like, what about? And I'm thinking in my head, why am I not CC'd on this email?
Right, fact.
Right?
Fact.
So, okay. So I'm like, what did she say? And then he goes, oh, well, I guess she's telling me that she can do way bigger things than you can.
Oh, wow.
And better things that you can.
That's crazy. Backstabber.
So I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So I'm in my head, all right. That's what's up. So, I was pretty heated at that time. And I was like, this bitch.
You are a Taurus.
I am a Taurus.
Yeah.
So,
Taurus came out of your eyes.
Oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm going to tell her.
You went professional to uncivil.
Yes, exactly. 0 to 100. I was like, oh, yeah, what did she say? This freaking bitch.
Yeah, tell me what she's,
okay. Yeah. So that's what she wants, that's
so
what she wants to do.
So what do you do? Do you call her out? You're like, yo, bitch.
I did call her, but it was not to cuss her out.
Okay.
It was to say, hey, so-and-so, we have another meeting tomorrow. Just letting you know I'm going to be there. She's like, oh, okay. So she's thinking at this time she's getting rid of me.
Right,
because at that moment when she's in the email, something in her little head told her that my client was going to drop me.
Right.
Because she had already promised him everything that, you know, he was expecting.
Right, she was trying to sell him a dream too, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Honestly, she's not even well known like that.
Right,
you know what I mean? So not to put her down, but you know, she's not.
And you have a relationship that took time, and you know what I mean? It's just different. I got you.
Right. So, you know, and I'm pretty confident about what I can bring to the table as well, you know, because if I wasn't, then I wouldn't be bringing anybody into the table like that. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, cool. So
yeah, you're definitely not insecure.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm like, hey, you know, let's do this, let's do that. I don't care. I'm like, all right, cool. But she is very extremely insecure. So when she heard that I was coming to the meeting, because this meeting was for a record label.
Okay.
And when she heard that I was coming, she immediately called Shell and she told Shell, why is Barbara coming? I told you were the only one that was supposed to come. And he said, well, Barbara's my publicist. What do you mean? Like,
she has to
I
be there.
met her through you.
Yeah.
I mean, I met you through Barbara. Like, what are you talking about? And then she starts going off, and then, you know, she creates this whole scene. And the next thing you know, me and her are talking, and I'm like, that's when I learned this before, but I already knew that I needed to keep it cute.
Right.
Because there was a deal on the table. Yeah. And I said, I'm going to be smart and get my money out of this and then bounce after that.
Gotcha.
Not talk to her like as much anymore, but I'm gonna keep it cute.
Right.
So as long as you actually understand that concept and your feelings don't get in the way, that's how you're gonna be successful, because you cannot have your feelings in this business.
Barbara, I think what you just said is so important, and I think people are not really capturing this, because by the way, that's not just in your industry, that applies in every single industry.
That's
we don't have to like each other. If business makes sense and you can be professional on your end, I could be professional, we can work it out, and then whatever happens after that. You can't get emotional about it, because money's not emotional.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's just logical. Does it make sense? Deal. Let's fuck shit up. If not, you know, I get you. So that's so dope. That's so dope that at that age, your thinking process was already in that matter. Okay.
Right. And I was like, you know what? I'm not about to, you know, mess up my money. So I was upset. Of course, I wanted to kill her. I'm not gonna lie. I checked my feelings. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to kill her, you know? I mean, that's just me thinking right now. Yeah. That's just a thought. Like Ludacris says on the song.
This is on record? Is this on record?
Is this on record? Yeah, you know, literally, you know, just, give her a couple, you know, words.
No, but I would definitely feel the same way, especially, especially when somebody does you dirty. I mean, it doesn't matter. Anybody does you dirty, you feel that way.
Yeah, you feel absolutely. You know, you're just like, okay, so I brought you into this freaking thing, and then you're going to act like that?
Yeah.
Bro, what? Yeah. So, you know, I had to check my feelings, and I had to talk to myself at night and be like, all right, Barbara. Coach myself through it. And I said, all right, the money's there. Take it and leave.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Hey, you a boss. There's a reason you're a boss. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Like, just do it. And I was like, all right, cool. So then we get to the meeting, and I'm still there regardless. And I'm like, hi. You know, I'm like, hi. And she's like,
you definitely play the part.
I had to play the part. I was like, hi. And I was like, you bitch.
Yeah.
But then we're sitting down, and then we closed it. So, you know, we made some good money out of it. And I was like, all right, cool.
And your client was happy.
And my client was happy. And then the Nickelodeon Choice Awards come about.
Ooh.
Right? So this is where it gets very interesting. And I'm going to say it because I don't care. Okay. But so I met another actor at Nickelodeon that was part of the show, Baba Gunter. Shout out to Baba. He's amazing. He's like such a good friend of mine. He became a brother to me, like a big brother. And the Nickelodeon Choice Awards come about. And then I'm talking to Shell. And I'm like, hey, am I going to score you on the carpet? Like, what's good? And he goes, I don't think we have enough tickets for you. And I'm like, really? Oh. Okay. And then he's like, yeah, I think they're only going to give me about 2, but let me see. And keep in mind, Nickelodeon is not the greatest at giving away tickets for cast members that are not the lead roles.
Right.
That's facts, because they don't take care of their actors like that.
Gotcha.
If it's, you know, somebody of the caliber, of course, you know what I mean? They're royalty on Nickelodeon. But if somebody like, my client was not really a role, you know what I mean? Like a main role. He was, but at the same time, not at the caliber of Shell. You know what I mean? So they were still going to give him a couple tickets, but not like something crazy. But anyways, long story short, I'm like, oh, so I guess I'm not going to go, whatever. Then I hear from someone else that publicist is going with him.
Ooh.
To walk him down the carpet.
Oh, what the fuck?
Exactly. And I'm like, bro, really? So I've been down for you, and I done several projects with you, and then you're gonna take somebody else? How the fuck does that work?
Right.
So again, I'm checking my feelings.
What is it you say? You act cute? What is it?
Yeah, you got to keep it cute.
Keep it cute.
Keep it cute. Keep
So
it
you
cute.
kept it cute.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I kept it cute again.
Gotcha.
Right? So I'm like, God damn it, man.
I love how you put your hand like that. Like, yeah, you're in meditation mode already. Control your feelings.
Control my feelings. Right? Ooza. Yes. I mean, yes, all that shit, because it's hard, man. It's hard. All that shit. You really got to keep it super extra cute.
Yeah, control your emotions.
Control your emotions. You know what I mean? So I learned that the hard way in so many levels in my life. But anyways, so I'm like, all right, cool. So I call Baba Gantra, right? And I'm like, hey, Baba, what's going on? Like, are you gonna go to the Choice Awards? What's good? He's like, oh yeah, baby girl, I'm going. Da 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 da. And so I kind of expressed to him, I said, well, I'm not, I guess this lady's courting a shell on the red carpet or whatever, orange carpet, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He was like, what? Like, oh, that's crazy. I don't know, but you need to talk to Shell and you guys need to figure it out because you're his publicist. Last time I checked, your name is on his IMDb as his publicist. So what's going on? So I'm like, I don't know, man. So, but he didn't get involved on any of this situation because he just didn't want to get in between. And that's his friend too, so I didn't want him to get in the mix. But anyways, I left it as it was. And then Baba actually calls me 3 days later and he tells me, hey, Barb, I got you a ticket.
Dope.
And I said, what? I'm like, you serious, dude? And he's like, no, I'm serious, man. He's like, come work for me. Come score me out. He's like, and Shell too, whatever. Let's just get past all this, whatever you guys are going through. Dope. I want you guys to be good and talk or whatever. So I said, bro, so he looked out for me majorly. Majorly. So he got me the ticket or whatever. And so we're, we're at the orange carpet. John Cena's right there. Ariana Grande, like all this big celebrities are right there on the carpet. And I'm like, oh man, I'm here. Cool. And at that point in time, she was also representing T.O. Terrell Owens. That was cool, whatever. But anyway, so she had Shell and T.O. and other celebrities there or whatever. So, and I think she had this wrestling girl too. I forgot her name. But anyway, so I'm like, she couldn't really handle all of them because you got to understand this orange carpet shit is like from let's say from here all the way to like to the around the corner.
Gotcha.
It's really big.
Yeah, it's a big
humongous. Yeah, that carpet is huge.
Got it.
So you really gotta maximize and sell your clients, especially with Sheldon being he was known, but at the same time he
wasn't there yet. He wasn't in his peak.
Right. So you know what I mean. So he was known by the kids.
Got it.
The kids were like ruthless because that was his name on the show. They're like ruthless. But the media sometimes didn't know who he was. So that's when you have to come in and sell the client.
Right.
So then I'm like right on the media outlets. Like this is like WWE, CNN, ABC, Fox, all the big outlets, Nickelodeon, obviously Nickelodeon, UK, all this. I got him interviews with everybody. And not only him, I got Bubba as well. So I'm like working both of them, and I'm like, okay, now I gotta go over here and go over there and go over there. But then I was really strategic with it because that's me. I have a vision for stuff when I get to places. That's why when I used to work at Mickey D's, I became a manager in 4 months.
Gotcha.
Because when I saw the visuals and how things run, I was like, I know what to do.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So then I split myself into 3 people that night.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then I got them all. I was like,
you worked it.
I worked it, and I made them very happy. I got them huge interviews.
Got it.
Huge press. And so the other publicist,
never.
Nada. She didn't even acknowledge Sheldon.
Damn. And he felt that.
And he felt it, and he knew it because I was working for Baba too.
Right.
Because you gotta understand, he's the one that got me in.
Right.
So I'm gonna go super hard extra for him. Hell yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm that type of person. You got me, I got you 1,000 more %. Right. Yeah. Loyalty for me is everything. So I'm like, hell yeah. So I'm working, I'm like getting him all this extra stuff. And I also went hard for Shell because at the same time, I didn't want him to feel some type of way either.
Gotcha.
Because at the end of the day, it was his actions, not mine.
Got you.
So I wanted to be good regardless.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
It
know
makes
what I mean?
sense. Absolutely. You were professional,
Right.
bro. Like,
I
that's
still wanted to be professional
You did your
regardless.
job, even though he didn't set you up to do your job. You
Right.
still did it.
Right. I
That's
still
what's
did
up.
it. And we just had brunch like
Good.
on Sunday.
Do you ever talk about that?
And you know what? I haven't
Because you're
brought
way
it up.
past. Yup.
I'm way past that shit
And
now.
I'm sure he is too, though.
But right, we're both past
But
that
y'all
shit.
don't bring it up.
But I brought it. No, I kind of brought up that lady at brunch, and I said, "Hey, so what's up with your
You don't
girl?"
want to hear about her.
Fuck no.
Of course.
He's like, "What? She's crazy."
Yeah.
Like, she's so insecure.
Overpromise, underdeliver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, like, she was, because she used to have a business partner, and they broke up too.
Wonder why.
Yeah, right. And so the business partner, poor thing, she was all traumatized too.
Yeah,
All the
I
shit.
bet.
But see, that's the thing. That's why you keep quiet and you stay back and you let them fall. Because if you start talking about them and you start kind of being like, oh, she's this, she's that, people look at you crazy.
Facts.
So you got to stay back and be like, all right, cool. I'm going to let you do the damage and I'm going to let you look stupid.
Facts.
And that's exactly what happened. Where is she at now? I have no idea.
Nowhere to be seen. Yeah, you can't.
I don't know.
You can't last very long in any industry when you burn bridges like that. It's just
Right.
not good because reputation means everything in the long run. In the short run,
Yeah.
you can win that little battle at
Right.
that moment, but in the long run, you're gonna burn out. 'Cause
Exactly.
We all want the same. We don't want to fuck with shady people. It
Right.
don't work that way.
It don't work like that. So that was that. And so we just had brunch on Sunday, and I told him, I said, so what's up with your girl? And he just started laughing,
Not
and we
trying
just
to
started
have it.
laughing. Yeah, because he's dropping new music, so
Dope.
I'm about to help him again. And
Good.
we and him are good. You know what I mean? Like all of my clients that don't even work with me like that, we still family.
Yeah.
They still call me, hey Barb, I need your help. Hey Barb, I need this. All right, I got you.
You establish good relationship. Now talk about projects. Any big projects or projects in general
Yeah.
coming up?
Yeah, we have a lot of big projects coming up with our clients right now. We have Hannah Giraldo, which is a big influencer and actress, and she's the daughter of Pat Benatar, the rock legend. So she's about to drop new music. Then we
Dope.
have Mr. Capone. You guys know Mr. Capone,
yeah,
right?
Of course, man. Who doesn't know the kid? Yeah.
So he's been
That dude don't age, bro. Like we
I
talk about that.
know.
God damn.
he still looks good, right?
yeah,
He looks
yeah.
really, really good.
Shout out to him.
Yeah,
for
shout
sure.
out to him for sure. So we're, cutting him brand deals and, stuff like that. And then we have our artists, of course. We have Exhibit, obviously, which we're working with right now
I love
too.
Exhibit.
Yeah, they dropped the project with the serial killers. It's called
Okay.
the Serial Killer Project, which is with Be Real in
Okay.
Denrick.
All right. Shout out Be Real.
Yeah, shout out to Be Real. And then we also have another client, which is an up and coming hip hop artist too. We're gonna, kind of like help him get his career started. Well, we work with a lot of artists too. Well, and then, taking it back on how me and my business partner met, speaking of the projects, me and her put together the press conference for Snoop Dogg for the tour. For the
Bet.
I Want to Thank Me.
Bet. And
So-
and your business partner is Patty?
Yes.
All right, let's shout out to Patty.
Yeah, shout out to
tag
Patty.
her on the gram.
Yeah, shout out to my girl Patty.
All right.
We've been through a lot together in this short period of time.
How long you been working together?
We met in August of last year, July of last year.
Okay.
So
But it
it's been a
seems like
year.
you guys have a really cool bond.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
she's
good
like
to
my
see
sister.
that. That's
Yeah.
really good to see.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a family thing. Like I said, when you work with somebody, it becomes a family stuff.
Yeah. I'm big on setting that kind of environment because
Yeah.
I preach to like my circle, like everyone can eat. Like there is no reason why I got to be better than you. Like if teamwork creates the dream work.
Exactly.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So,
Exactly.
all right. So you got all
Yeah.
these big projects going on, right?
Yeah, she's working with Bobby D Presents, which is one of the biggest promoters here in LA. And then Ras, the tour, because I also did publicity for the tour for B2K when they
Right.
came back. I submitted Ras to an event,
Okay.
and then me and I guess it was a 90s rewind or something like that, and she was running it. Patty was running it, and so that's how we met. But Ras pulled up with all kinds of people,
Right.
and so Patty's like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I wasn't ready.
I didn't
for
know
all
you
that.
were bringing all these people.
Yeah.
And so right there, I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Say my bad. That's my
My
client.
bad.
but-
That's my client, but damn, like, I'm sorry. I was
Yeah.
all embarrassed and stuff. But anyways, rewind. Fast forward.
Yeah.
Me and her started getting along. We started like getting to know each other more. And again, that's what I mean about collaborating with people. Because I was like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. And then she was the
Facts.
same way.
Facts.
So then it just made sense for us to become business partners. You know what I
Awesome.
mean? And then that's how we started working with, I started coming because she brought me on board with Bobby D Presents. So she was like, hey, we need another publicist. And I guess the publicist they had back then wasn't working out, and she was doing a lot of the work by herself and not getting any help. So then I said, hey, it makes sense, let's do it. So then so then Bobby D and actually Snoop Dogg became with the agency, which is called Uncle Snoop's Army.
Okay.
So then it's a booking agency, it's not a record label.
Gotcha.
So then, you know, they're in charge of like booking the artists for shows and stuff like that. And so we have Snoop, obviously, we have Trey the Truth, we have OT Genesis, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Key Sweat, Be Real, Burner from Cookies. Then
Burner,
we have Burner. Yeah, we have, did I say Trey the Truth? I did say Trey the Truth. Then we have Tay of Third, which is a young artist. Tricks, Trey Near, and then some other people. And then Ice Cube, it's like somehow involved with us too. And then Exhibit obviously was just
a lot of legends you just mentioned.
A lot of OGs. Yeah.
For sure. That's so dope. I feel like you definitely have a lot of experience and gone through a lot to where you're at today. And I can see how, well, first of all, I can see how you got where you're at. You're like super determined.
Thank you.
Determined to accomplish whatever is in front of you and whatever is it that you want.
Yeah.
If I can ask you a question,
sure.
Barbara, if you can go back to maybe when you're a lot younger, maybe 17 or so.
Yeah.
In theory, if you can go back in time and give yourself some advice for the future, what type of advice would you give yourself?
To slow down and really appreciate what you have at that time in front of you, because it goes by so fast.
Time flies.
To be like, and to really have the patience and the understanding of how when things don't work, you're not supposed to be super discouraged about it. It's
part of the plan.
It's part of the plan.
Part of the story.
It's like failures are part of your story.
Right.
That's what makes you stronger at the end of the day. But, you know, that's, if I could give that advice to myself when I was 17, is to slow it down and to really pace yourself and really be patient and really believe in what you, in the project and whatever it is that you're working towards. Because I had a lot of doubters. Like, a lot of people doubted me, like, you know, like crazy, and specifically my family too.
It's crazy to think that happens like that, but I'm so happy to see you where you're at. I'm so happy that we linked up.
Yes, me too.
Any shout outs you want to give?
Yes, of course. I have a list. No, I'm just kidding.
I really
go with a list. Like,
there goes 30 minutes.
I know, right? There goes 30 minutes of our time.
No,
well, shout outs first and foremost to Patty, obviously, she's here today with me. So Patty, thank you so much. You mean a lot to me, girl. Like, you know, we've been together. We've been together for a minute and we've done a lot. So obviously to my kids, Jacob and Alan. I love them to death. Yay. And to my friends and Kari, our executive assistant, because she's been instrumental in getting stuff done for us. And also to, you know, all of our clients. There's a lot to name, but you know, all of them, they have been super amazing, and they've been rocking with us for a very long time, and we're just super blessed to, you know. And then of course, shout outs to, you know, our social media team, Brandon. He's amazing. He gets us right on social media. Yeah, I'm sorry if I forgot him, like, you know, anybody, but that.
No, but shout out to your whole team. What a dream team you got. That's fact. Yeah. Shout out to you as well, man.
Thank you.
Barbara, we appreciate you coming through the house, man. And
thank you.
Just putting up on game and giving us the blueprint on all your stories. And I hope people can learn from this. Everybody that is watching, make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram. Everybody's tag is going to be on the show. So until next time, we out. Peace.
Thank you.